Well, it's mid-February in Anchorage, the beginning of the end of winter. And like groundhogs, residents are venturing out, beginning to stir. That's when the call goes out across the region. Let's Rondy! For over 70 years, Anchorage's Great Fur Rendezvous Festival has been coaxing Alaskans out of their homes and into the streets to celebrate the end of the long, dark winter months.
In the mid-1930s, Anchorage resident Vern Johnson got together with a few of his friends and came up with the idea of an end-of-winter sports festival and fur auction.
He wanted mainly to spark some interest in the winter activities, get people out and around and do something, especially with the fur trade at that time. That was the main thing. You're only a small community. It was only about 2,400, 3,000 people in here.
The event lasted 3 days, and the idea was to get folks from all over the Anchorage area out and about, seeing old friends and meeting new ones. Today, the Anchorage Fur Rendezvous lasts over 2 weeks and is one of the largest winter festivals in North America.
It's got something for everyone, definitely, and is a great, I guess, mood reliever, for lack of a better word, for the folks that live here and also visitors coming into Anchorage.
This is the second year that we've gone to 3 weeks to incorporate not only Fur Rondy, but also incorporate the start of the Iditarod. We did that last year because there's so many people coming to town for the Iditarod that there wasn't anything for them to do between the end of Rondy and the start of the Iditarod. So by extending it another week, we're giving people the opportunity to come to town a little early, see the sled dog race, and then see Iditarod with the sled dogs, but also to have events that are going on during the week, which it's a good opportunity for people to get exposed to Anchorage, to our history, and to Rondy.
Close to 70% of the local population participates in at least one of the dozens of Rondy activities each year. That's over a quarter of all Alaskans out having a good time during the Fur Rondy. Throw in several thousand tourists who make the festival a destination, and you've got yourselves a party.
The festivities start off with a bang, with a firework display and carnival.
It's hard to tell from these kids' faces that it's still winter in Alaska. Every place you look, there's something different going on. All of the traditional winter sports and activities are represented, along with some you may not expect.
Chris, Mona, Robert is up.
How about a snowshoe softball tournament?
Woo!
Rendezvous!
Come on.
Hey! How many years have you been playing this?
1984.
Every year at Fur Rondy you play, or do you play other than Fur Rondy?
I play all summer long. It's kicking the pants. Come out and have a good time. It's a chance for all of our teams to get together and play during the winter time as well as in the summertime. We really enjoy it.
As if running in snowshoes isn't enough of a challenge, these guys came up with an additional rule for their 30-year-old grudge match. I understand you've been doing this for a number of years?
Yeah, we started in 1972. It's kind of a bar bet between two bars. A strip joint downtown in Chilkoot Charlie's, who sponsored my team. And
has it been one-sided? Has Chilkoot or
well, I really don't want this to get out, but I think our record is 27-4 with us on the prevailing dominance. Yeah.
Rules of the game, a little different than normal softball. Maybe a little different even than snowshoe softball.
A little bit different in that you have to pick up a beer at first base and you have to have it finished by the time you touch home, so before your run counts.
So a big hit and a lot of bases in run can end up with a lot of beer being drunk in a hurry coming around third base.
Everybody brings a caddy so they have somebody to drive them home.
Well, I think the Fur Rondy was founded on the idea of having some fun during February. And you guys are carrying on the tradition.
In ice bowling, the rules are no rules. Scoring is the same as in regular bowling, except you get to count any pins you knock down, no matter which lane they're in.
The 10 pins a little to the left.
You know how much talent it takes to get that exact same
Yeah, go push it again.
Already made $11. Here's the ice ball and cheddar ball.
Border crossing is a sport that will be demonstrated in the next Winter Olympics.
42 in first and 71 in second.
The Rondy has a border cross tournament for all ages, 10 and up.
Well, this is a border cross race. The way it works is usually send down up to 4 competitors at once. Top 2 advance to the next heat. It depends on how many people are in the heat, and there's no time kept. It's whoever makes it through first, then first, second, third out of the final heat, they take the prizes. It's pretty popular, pretty easy. It has some jumps and it has some speed and gates to it. So.
Need to warm up? Well, there are plenty of indoor activities, all intended to get folks together. One of my favorites is art at the mall. This is a chance to meet with and buy directly from the Alaskans who make traditional and contemporary art.
Oyster number 7's also nicked. It's an 8.
Hey, here's one that lets you compete, be indoors, and eat all at the same time.
Three. He's scrambled. 2. That's another 4. Now this one's pretty ugly, Celeste. That one's a 2.
Hey, we're shucking oysters at the Sea Galley. Bridger here is going to show me how to do it, because I'm an old Florida boy and I haven't really shucked that many oysters. For 10 years I ate them and I thought, man, it's got to be a better way than chewing through that shell. You know what I mean?
There you go.
Be honest with me,
It's easier when they're out of the shell.
Be honest with me, Bridger. Where are you from originally?
Me? I'm from Casper, Wyoming.
Casper, Wyoming? And there's a lot of oysters there?
There's no oysters in Wyoming.
They have different kinds of oysters
Yes,
there.
they do.
Yeah, but we're not going to talk about that.
No,
now.
we
You're going to show me.
Okay.
Just twist it out. There you go. Casper, Wyoming. Yep. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. There it is, right there. That's Shuckers. We have shucked an oyster at Sea Galley, and we're ready to Rondy!
If you don't have a pin, we have a jail outside, and you get a chance to go in the jail for a little while.
I don't want to go to jail.
Uh-oh, well, fortunately for you, and we'll brag about it, we can be bribed.
In 1939, the first fur rendezvous pin was designed. It was a lapel pin made out of leather and surrounded in fur. There's been a pin for every Rondy since. Pins from the early days of the Fur Rondy have values well into the thousands of dollars. Some people get very serious about their pin collections.
The first metal Fur Rendezvous pin that they did was 1977. And then every year they do a different pin, and my collection just goes on, up and around, and it's the same up on my hat. And this thing is getting old enough that I've got to take it off every once in a while. It's pretty heavy. Yeah, you look at the inside,
It's a little painful too.
Yes,
Now
yes.
you have a very special pin here.
I have a very special pin. It goes back to 1939, and that supposedly was the very first rendezvous pin, or commemorative button or pin or badge that they did. It's 1939. Apparently had a little bit of fur around it.
You don't have a pin?